Here's Robert. Robert, we're underway. Jeff, let's just get your thoughts on the change at top of the East now. The Bucks have finally gotten on top. They won 15 straight. Is this going to last?
As long as Chris Middleton stays healthy, I think it might. They haven't lost with him back in the lineup here since he's come back. I think they're 13-0 since Middleton rejoined the lineup. And it just shows how much, honestly, he means to that team. And again, some of the intangibles, but as a number two guy who could take some of the pressure off Giannis, take some of the pressure. You know, there was a lot on Drew Holiday's shoulders, obviously, when Middleton's out. So now you've got three guys. You've got perhaps still the best player on the planet in Giannis, who's not a great shooter, so it helps. You need to be able to space the court for him, and that's really what Middleton does among so many other things.
Which is a sobering reminder about last year's playoffs and why I refused to get totally cocky about the juxtaposition this year, because the Celtics beat them without Middleton. And I never forgot that for a second. So this now the extent of what they're doing, 15 in a row, that always opens your eyes. Yeah. But it's a hello, hey gang, don't forget us moment, you know. So,
they're not sexy. You know, that's the thing with Milwaukee. Other than Giannis, they're not sexy, right? Like, Middleton's kind of a vanilla type player. Drew Holiday just does his thing, right? He guards.
Brooke Lopez.
Yep. He has Connaughton, Grayson Allen.
Bobby Portis.
Portis has been great.
He scares me. I at times. He's he's an unsung good player.
Okay,
got a good team.
With Milwaukee back in it here and the Celtics, struggling against the Knicks, Tatum, we're going to get to him in a minute, losing his cool. Who does the pressure fall on to keep things going in the right direction? Is it the coach or is it Tatum? Jeff, I'll start with you.
Tatum. It's Tatum. I mean, to me, Joe Mazzulla is still figuring his deal out, right? He's still finding his way. But you can't expect him as a rookie coach. It's on Jayson Tatum. He's the leader of this with help. That's the beauty now is Tatum's got some help in that locker room where I'm not sure he really had it before. Not that Brogdon and Derek White are the most vocal dudes in the world, but you know what? Tatum knows he can trust them. He knows they're all about the right thing. So I think if they say something to him, it's different than obviously Tatum's in a different place than he was when he had Kyrie next to him, right? Like,
sure.
Gordon Hayward even. Gordon Hayward was super quiet also, but Tatum wasn't where he is now. And kind of, you've just seen the maturity in him. And I know we're going to get to the technical and getting tossed. So to use the word maturity in Tatum right now might not be the best choice. But he is. You listen to Jayson Tatum, and he is embracing the leadership role, which I'm not sure I ever really saw him being able to do. I mean, this is a really, really, really quiet kid who, again, when you talk to the Boston media, his first or second year, they literally would say he was like the worst quote they ever dealt with. Just because he didn't want to say anything, that he wasn't comfortable. Now he's getting comfortable. He still has more to grow, but I think where he's at right now is huge growth from where he was even a year or two ago.
Interesting revelation in today's Boston Globe by Chad Finn about Doris Burke's interaction with Jayson Tatum for a film session. And she was completely blown away by the level of his technical expertise.
Yeah.
Really?
He doesn't party. He's not a huge video game.
We know he's super dad. That's right. Documented.
Yeah. Like I saw Deuce coming back actually from Indy. Last week. I was in the airport in Bloomington, flying back home here, and they were flying back from a couple days in vacation after the All-Star break, and Jayson was playing, and they were playing the Pacers the next night. But yeah, Jason's about what? Family and ball, and that's it. That's it for the most part. So he is a student of the game, and I think again, if he keeps making the progress he's made over the last couple of years, man.
With regard to this leadership thing, the guy that I think would have been very happy to have been anointed the leader in his diapers is Brown.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know where he fits into all this right now.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't either. I don't know how, again, I don't think any of them are like super vocal guys.
You don't think Brown's borderline is pretty outside?
I think he's vocal in certain areas, Bob. I don't think he's super vocal within that locker room.
All right.
I don't know who that guy is. I mean, I would assume like Blake Griffin might be one of the more vocal guys. And that's why I love Blake there in his role, because I think you need some of that. But, Brogdon and Derek White aren't going to be talking just to talk. That's not Tatum. The guy who does that is Grant Williams, but he's young and still trying to figure out his way. So I think it's a pretty good mix right now. But listen, when you're winning at a high level like they did last year, part of it kind of takes care of itself. But again, I think Jayson's done a really, really good job growing and being more comfortable in his own skin. So
with regard to that Knicks game, they were living on the edge going into it, and with the victories that they achieved prior to that.
Right.
And the Knicks, this was a milestone game for the Knicks. I mean, this was a ballyhooed game. This was the most important game in the year, quite frankly, for the Knicks. This is their chance to show where they fit, that kind of thing. It's a common theme in all sports. And this was their night to show the world who they really are. Fine. However, and they deserved to win the game. They controlled the game. Right? That was almost wire to wire. If it wasn't wire to wire, it was like one possession away from wire to wire. But the Celtics shot 9 for 42 on threes with open looks in the first half galore. Right. And that's the modern game.
Well, let me ask you this, Bob.
We may not have to go any farther than that.
You're right. I mean, we've accepted it. That's the modern game. Here's the question I have for you guys is, are the Celtics talented enough to shift gears in the postseason when the three's not dropping? Can they go to the hoop if they have to?
Yeah, they can. Of course they can. To be honest, if you look at their talent, it's probably better served to go to the basket than it is to rely on the three-pointer. But, Brad Stevens certainly started this. Well, didn't start it, but, was a major proponent of the three.
Go ahead, Bob.
How's that word? Emphasize.
Yeah, I mean, Bob, let me have Bob. Are they mature enough to shift gears? Because I understand what Jeff is saying.
This is my reservation, Gar. And this is why, as they enter the playoffs, whatever the record is, whatever the seeding is, ultimately, we know some years seeding, you want that seventh game at home. Many years, there's no issue because you don't have that seventh game. There's no seventh game to play at home. You can't build your whole world around that. You got to go play. And the most important thing in the playoffs, A, is health. We all know that. Supersedes everything, supersedes seeding and all that. And but the other thing with the Celtics is they have something to prove after the way they disintegrated with the lead they had in the finals against the Warriors last year. And so until they get back and have it on that stage again, we won't have the answer. I'd like to think so. I'm looking at they've got the sufficient adults in the room with Horford and Griffin and Brogdon and so forth. All right, they got two young, tremendous stars, and Marcus Smart makes three, and they have to prove it. That's going to be my question. They have the talent. They don't need a talent upgrade in order to win the 2023 championship. They don't need a talent upgrade. They need to maximize what they have, and that starts from the nose up. Okay, and because they have the talent, and they're not going to shoot 9 for 42 too damn often, nor are they going to shoot 27 for 51, which is what they did the first time against the Knicks. The truth's going to be somewhere in the middle, but we know they have the capability of being a potent 3-point team. They got all the weapons that they need. They just have to go play properly.
All right, guys, great job as always. Quick one this week. Jeff Goodman, we hope to see you down the road. We know you're going to be underwater with plenty of college hoop. I
just got to say one quick thing to Jeff. Just as I was ready, thanks to Jeff, to jump on the Hoosier bandwagon, they get thumped by Iowa.
Thumped. How about that? Yeah, listen, no team's great. I'll say this as we head into college basketball in midnight, March Madness. There's no great team this year.
I was saying to my wife this morning, I told her about that, kiddingly, and I said, but this is like the umpteenth example this year. Just when a team starts to get on a roll, they get humbled. Everybody's been humbled at some point, right? Yeah. That's why we had the multiple number ones. What a tournament. You handicap this? Oh, my. Good luck.
You can't. I mean, anybody's got a shot. Anybody.
All right, guys. Always a pleasure. We'll talk to you again next week. Bob Ryan, Jeff Goodman, I'm Gary Tanguay. Thank you for catching the Ryan Goodman Tanguay Along for the Ride Zoom In Pod.